Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Diaries of a Degen, aka me, Dante. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about everything that's happened in the last week and give you updates on the trades that I had made and discussed in the last two videos. So if you haven't gotten the update on what I was doing in those last two videos, I outlined everything. The good news is, if you have capitulated on crypto and decided that everything's over and it's time to walk away, I'm here to tell you that I have never been more locked in. And with that, I have obviously my own opinions, thoughts, and ideas about where we go from here. So if any of that sounds great to you, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you let me know what you're looking at in the crypto space and what you're doing during, honestly, one of the hardest times for a lot of people, especially the newcomers into the space. But for those of you, let me give you a recap on everything, or at least what February has entailed. So February entailed the largest crypto liquidation event in crypto history, followed by the largest crypto theft in crypto history. And it's got me feeling a little bit like this. So I tweeted this yesterday. I was like, can we at least have one day where something catastrophic does not happen within the crypto space? And that's how it's felt, guys, in recent times, especially the month of February. It just feels like bad news after, scandal after scam after, hack after theft. Like, it's just nonstop, crazy things happening within the space. But what I will tell you guys, the silver lining of all of this is we are really, really seeing the resilience of the market right now. So just to get you quickly updated on my thoughts on what happened yesterday. So if you don't know, Bybit, which is one of the biggest perp exchanges and probably spot exchanges at this point in the world, got hacked for $1.4 billion of Ethereum. And it is speculated that, the Lazarus group that is connected to North Korea, again, speculation, using the internet as my guide here, was behind this. So basically, North Korea now owns $1.4 billion of Ethereum. And as you know, if you follow this channel, we own Ethereum. We've held it for several years at this point. It hasn't performed the best, but I'm not planning to sell my Ethereum. And we also know that if we want altcoins to start seeing that major leg up, Ethereum's price performance has a lot to do with that. So obviously we want to see Ethereum's price go up. Now, here is the good news out of all of this. Bybit, luckily, is able to, provide 100% of the withdrawals and is not in jeopardy of losing any customer funds. So that $1.4 billion, basically, they are taking out loans to fulfill customer orders, etc. But long story short, the good individuals of the world are not going to lose money over this hack. Again, it's crazy. This stuff is possible in crypto. The good thing is the actual crypto, the individuals within the market are probably not going to be affected by this too much. And the other thing is, because of the blockchain, the beauty of this technology, the wallet that actually stole this Ethereum is going to have a very hard time going into stable coins, basically liquidating that crypto, because of course Tether, Circle, any of these large organizations that are behind the largest stable coins are would definitely freeze those funds as soon as there was any kind of liquidation or conversion that was going to be attempted by that wallet. So that is the good thing. Again, the beauty of the blockchain, people look at blockchain as kind of an empowering the individual kind of technology, but it is also a great way to actually find bad actors and punish them. So that's good. I haven't chatted to you guys about this. Is obviously the Libra scam, or the Libra controversy. Basically, it's crazy. A lot of people are calling for the end of Sol because, Sol is the blockchain where most of these meme coins, most of this garbage is occurring, the grifting, the scamming. And so most people are calling for the end of Solana. I personally, this is my opinion, the technology is not going anywhere. Solana is not going anywhere, but hopefully in some way nature is healing and we see some resolution to, this idea that meme coins is where you're going to make it. The majority loses, a minority wins. And again, it's extremely extractful to the majority of the space. So again, I just wanted to say that I don't think Sol is going anywhere. I know I've mentioned a lot about Solana and it being something that's, it's just the blockchain that has enabled this kind of trading to occur and has enabled a use case for crypto. So I don't think it's going anywhere, but hopefully, there's going to be a lid on this. There's going to be regulation that comes in and bad actors, again, are going to pay. And so another thing that I just had up here that I think is hilarious is, and this goes back to, influencers in the space overall. I know it's hard to be someone who's technically on the other side of the camera or on the other side of the media. Technically, I'm not an influencer, but I guess I'm a content creator. And, saying that, like, guys, you can't follow any of these people. You shouldn't be following me. You shouldn't be following what anyone else says. Tyke's a guy that I really like, or I liked. And I still do like him. I respect him highly for everything that's gone in the last couple of weeks. He's handled it pretty well. But his situation is a good example of, a couple of weeks ago, guys, Farcoin and all of these AI coins, and even I got caught up trading these, but I was lucky enough to liquidate at the tops of most of them. And again, if you were following me, you would have known when I was like raising the red flag, like, guys, it's time to get out of these things. We are at a euphoric moment for them. But the point is with Tyke and all these other guys, I think, again, it's just been another lesson in the last couple of weeks that, a lot of this stuff, guys, is so speculative. A lot of this stuff is not going to succeed long term. And if it wasn't more obvious than it is now, really, Bitcoin is the only proven thing. Ethereum is the closest next thing. Solana, those two are the closest next things to, all right, we're almost there with the institutions and the adoption, but we're really not there yet. So basically anything else, and all of the people who think that they know what's going to happen next in the market, who are trying to predict, 4 or 5 months ahead and be like certain about things, you got to be aware of it. You got to be wary of it because, guys, nobody knows what's going to happen in the long run. We're assuming, guys, we have a thesis that obviously all this stuff is going to go up in the long run, but nobody knows what's going to happen week to week, day by day. And so you got to be really careful. And of course, don't worry, we're getting there. We're getting to what I'm doing with my altcoins. Obviously, this has impacted the way I'm looking at my portfolio. Now, finally, we get to talk about what I'm doing with my trades, what I'm doing with Kaspa, TAO, Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, all of it. So if you don't know, since the last time we've talked, I believe decentralized TAO, DTAO was rolled out, was launched, and the launch couldn't have gone better. Essentially, for the Bittensor ecosystem, creating an economy within the greater economy, so an economy for the subnets. And everything went so smoothly. The launch went amazingly, and price reflected that as well, with the demand for the token skyrocketing. But again, I'm just going to hone in on another tweet from Barry Silbert, as I did in the last video. And guys, the only altcoin I hold right now is TAO. So I'll just put it like that. It's the only altcoin I hold. And this is why. And this is coming from people who have a lot more research than myself, a lot more research than yourself, and someone with a lot of skin in the game. So I'm just going to read you his tweet. Crypto plus AI is the next major era of digital assets, reminiscent of the early days of Bitcoin. Now with TAO on Coinbase, Bittensor can further drive the shift towards truly decentralized intelligence. And the main thing about this, which is interesting, right? Let me click on his tweet, is he is directly comparing the impact to decentralized artificial intelligence via TAO as, as great and as big as that of Bitcoin. Now, if you've been following this channel for some time, for several years, you know that the only objective we've had on this channel is to try and find the next Bitcoin-like investment. And of course, the probability, like I've said, of you being able to do that is definitely less than 1%. So the reality of me being right on something is incredibly low. But it's not even about being right about this at this point. It's about just following the paper trail of several years of development within Bittensor, within the ecosystem, and the fact that institutions are lining up to buy this. Kraken, if you didn't know, has institutional custody for TAO, as well as Coinbase just listed it. And I guarantee you, the reason Coinbase listed it is to stay competitive in the institutional market, not the retail market, the institutional market. I truly believe that. And that's why they listed TAO. Now, like I said, going to discussing the trades that I've made and what I've been talking about. So you would have known if you watched the last couple videos that really outside of Bitcoin, the only other two altcoins I've been talking about are Kaspa and TAO, outside of short-term trades being the AI agents, which we'd made a killing on, but obviously we sold their short-term holdings. But going back to Kaspa and TAO, which were the two altcoins that I've really focused on in the last couple of years as believing they have some fundamental merit to them. So Kaspa, guys, I love Kaspa as a project, the idea and everything behind it. But you know that I will also be 1000% real with you when there's, situations within the chart, situations within the market overall as to what I believe is going to happen with the project. So I just want to show you a long-term chart for Kaspa. And I think what Kaspa is actually doing is suggesting greater weakness within the altcoin market in general. Because Kaspa, out of all these other projects, has probably the most fundamental value, proven fundamental value compared to anything, because it is a true commodity like Bitcoin, and it has technology that's, bar none. So Kaspa is showing weakness. And nobody can deny that. It's been in an aggressive downtrend for pretty much 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And at first I thought that Kaspa was, just underperforming the market and eventually it would catch up. But I think what Kaspa was actually doing is signaling prior to what is happening in the market. So Kaspa was one of the first runners in the market when we had bullish sentiment return. Kaspa has also been one of the first to dump and have a continued downtrend right before basically all of the altcoin market went belly up. So I think that's how I'm looking at Kaspa right now. I've traded out of my Kaspa into TAO, and I did that during that liquidation event. I bought Kaspa at 7 cents. As the price rode up to 11 cents, I converted it all to TAO, and so far that has been an amazing decision because TAO has been one of the strongest altcoins coming out of this liquidation event, up over 100%. I'm extremely happy with that decision, but it's really mainly not because of a trading decision. It was more so like I have extreme conviction in TAO, and so I'm okay. And way back a couple of weeks ago when I told you guys, you want to be in projects that you're comfortable holding 30, 40% down, because your mentality will be, hey, I'm going to DCA this because I actually believe in this long-term, versus, oh my gosh, I'm down 30, 40% on some coin that's never going to be relevant again and is going to continue its downward momentum. So between Kaspa and TAO, I don't think you can go wrong. Outside of Bitcoin, I also hold Ethereum, and then I do hold stocks like MicroStrategy, Tesla, and just, index funds. But the point is, right now, I'm still in TAO, and my fundamental conviction in it has never been greater, but we have to consider the greater market and what's happening in the greater market. And this applies to absolutely every single altcoin. We have not seen a financial situation in the larger macro conditions that have supported a real altcoin rally. But I do think, if you listen to Raoul Paul, he also has the everything code. I subscribe to this idea of the everything code is essentially the macro environment over years and years of time only supports one thing: debasement of our currency and asset prices going up, as long as you're in good assets. So with that in mind, I'm going to try and find and hold on to DCA no matter, what people say about recession, this, that, and the other. I will continue to DCA those assets that I believe 10, 20 years from now are going to be solid investments, are going to help me hedge against the debasement of the US dollar. And I believe that, TAO really has the potential to do that. And of course, there's plenty other projects that, you may have conviction in, other people have conviction in. I'm just going to use TAO as my example of that asset that I believe has that potential. And I want to explain to you very simply, and this is kind of like my overarching idea, and then we'll leave it at that. We haven't had something that truly signifies a commodity outside of Bitcoin that has a true purpose with this whole blockchain thing. Bitcoin fits in perfectly with the idea of store value and, a very hard asset in the digital ecosystem or in the digital sphere, which we've never had before. We've only had things like gold and other commodities that you can maybe put a cap on because there's only a limited supply, but we're never really going to know how much gold is out there because you can do an infinite amount of digging and probably find more gold. But with Bitcoin, obviously, only 21 million. So it is potentially the hardest asset we've ever had in human history. And it is definitely a commodity. TAO, on the other hand, is very much similar to Bitcoin in the sense that I look at it as a commodity, but for incentivizing intelligence. And that's the kind of the way they look at TAO as well. There's no marketing team for TAO, but the way the ecosystem and the foundation looks at TAO is it's essentially a blockchain protocol that incentivizes intelligence, applications, and useful products in a way that Bitcoin and no other project really has been able to demonstrate actual value accrual from. So if you go and look at some of the AI specific projects or subnets within the TAO ecosystem, they are competing with the likes of OpenAI and Anthropic. And, there's really smart guys like Raoul Pal who say that this is just not possible and that it's just not going to be sustainable in the long run. And that is the risk with this. It is a very, very huge mission and vision that Bittensor stands behind. But again, like I said, guys, in terms of what I want to invest in the altcoin market outside, if it's not going to be just full porting Bitcoin and keeping all my chips in Bitcoin when it comes to crypto, TAO is the only one I can really justify. And the other thing that really, again, like I said, I keep going back to is the guys like Barry Silbert who are literally shaping their whole identity around TAO. So all of this to say, you shouldn't be believing in what I am saying. You shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. You should be understanding that this is just my mindset, and like TAO could be any asset. If you've done your research on something in crypto and you believe that based on the research you've done, this has long-term potential, then, that's where your conviction lies. If your conviction doesn't lie in TAO, that's okay. Or, there's not going to be one asset. And like I said, this is a game of probabilities, and the probabilities of us being right, are very low. But at this point, it's not about being right. It's about being open-minded to being able to see the opportunities when they come our way. And I think TAO is a perfect example of that. I've told you guys for years that this is a huge mission and vision, but I would be lying to you if I said that they are not executing, and that the things that they said they wanted to do from when they first started this project to where they're at now, it's hard for me to argue that they're not doing it. So obviously there's a lot of kinks. Obviously there's things that they need to work on, and that this is not a finished product. But if I'm going to put my chips anywhere, I think you get it at this point, it's going to be TAO. All that being said, I just wanted to give you guys that update for this video. I know it's not like a crazy amount of information or a crazy amount of alpha for you there, but you guys know that if you're following me, in the last couple of months, we've been able to do pretty well when, sentiment in the crypto space has never been worse. And that doesn't come from anything but just being open to the flow of the market and understanding that you might have ideas, you might have reasons for the things you do, but you have to constantly be aware of that and realize that the market's going to do what it wants to do, and to follow the paper trails and be engaged even when nobody else is. Try to stay out of the gambling. Try and stay out of this idea that this is a get-rich-quick scheme, because it's not. This space only rewards the long-term builders and believers. I truly believe that, and so that's why I'm here. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to be here. As we've said, we're going to be documenting everything we're doing in 2025 at the very least in the crypto space. So I wanted to be here and give you guys that update, let you guys know what's up, have a little bit of that crypto therapy session that we're always talking about here on the channel. And I hope you got any piece of it, alpha or any piece of value from this. And if you did and you're still here, I appreciate you. And make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and guys, give me a comment. Let me know you're out there. Let me know what you're doing in the space. I appreciate it. But all right, I'll let you guys go. Thanks for watching. Peace.